What's up, YouTube? It's ArealR32 here, and I wanted to do another episode of True Insider. And this week's True Insider is going to be talking about, I wouldn't say a used to be pro player, but not really in the spotlight that much anymore. His name is Christopher Perovich. I may have butchered your last name. I apologize. You're probably not even watching this video. Um, and what this is it's a blog of his, and this is just a bunch of stuff that he likes to talk about, and this is him talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! The state of the game. He has like the first one that he made, and then he also has one that restated, where he's saying that he just appreciates all the feedback and everything, where he's apologized to people that he may have offended, and he's just talking about stuff from like back in the day, where essentially what the article talks about. My words just got all mixed up in one there. Essentially what he talks about is he talks about how the game used to be like really good with just everything, good with card choices. The rulings really were not that insane. He thinks this meta is terrible right now. I think a lot of people do, just because it doesn't really take a lot of skill to do well in this format. Oh, and in case you ask, I did read the entire restated article, and I also read the entire regular article. So yeah, and basically the other stuff that he talks about in here is he talks about basically his life of Yu-Gi-Oh in general. I know what's his name, Great Fails Montana. I cannot remember your name, and I really apologize. But he was making a rant video about it, saying basically Kris Perovich said that the YugiTube community is terrible. How last time that he went to an event, he did terrible, went X3, and at the end of round 9, and he doesn't really know what he's talking about. When you look at it from that perspective, I agree with Great Fails Montana on that, only because that if you don't stay in the loop with Yu-Gi-Oh, like let's say you get out of Yu-Gi-Oh for 2 months, the game can change extremely, I wouldn't say extremely drastically, but it can change a lot within 2 months. People that have gone out of one format and not kept up with Yu-Gi-Oh for an entire format and come back into another, you know as well as I do that they're just going to be completely lost. Personally, I've never backed out of a format and then come back into the next one. Personally, I've played in every format since 2009 when Teledad and Gladiator Beast were really good, and so was Lightsworn. And I believe that's when Kris Perovich was still playing, and I guess he still plays now. It's just we don't really hear a lot about him. He talks about also about how a lot of people that like topped and won events, like this is back when Shonen Jumps were called Shonen Jumps, not YCSs, and like how they always got all this publicity and all this and that. And he talked about metagame.com, about how metagame.com would have like the deck lists up, and they would have like they would have like let's say I top a YCS. I go into the top 2, and I'm going against Robbie Cole. Well, metagame.com, even before our feature match was already up, they would already have my deck list and Robbie's deck list, and you could study our deck list and see how we played them and how we played our decks in our feature matches. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. From what I've heard from other people and about what he's said in this article here. The other stuff that he really talked about was just about, he didn't, I wouldn't say he really called out Yu-Gi-Tubers. He called out Amanda LaPalm, Vexkis4666, Jarrell Winston, Billy Break. What were some other ones? Joe Giolando, Jeff Jones. That's the other one I'm forgetting, and a bunch of other people. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but it's the first article, not the restated one, but the first one is kind of long. He talks about some stuff that he would want to see into the game: better ranking system, modified Konami tournament software, better event coverage, better post-event coverage, better inter-event content, and active feedback system. And he also has a link, I believe it's down here. Yeah, US-OP support at Konami.com. He's basically saying respectfully. Okay, sorry you guys, I'm back. My phone rang from a stupid political phone call. Anyways, so what was I saying? Ah, yes. So, he talks about how the game used to be and basically nostalgic. Um, and, of course, he does try to apologize for any people he may have offended. Um, Personally, like I said, I didn't play back in Goat Control. Uh, Actually, I've also forgotten to mention Christopher Perovich's the one that invented DDV, or DDT, whatever it was. Um, he invented that, apparently. I don't really know the guy too well. I just know about these couple articles that he's written. He has a link to the oldmetagame.com with UDE, and basically he said that he thinks that UDE ran things better. And I will very much agree with that, because UDE, they gave more, how could I say this? They gave more variety to the game, I guess you could call it, because like back when UDE ran everything, like they had a UDE day where like if you topped UDE day, you got like a bunch of prizes and stuff. Um, like whenever a sneak peek came out, I know at the old locals that I used to go to, um, whenever there was like back when Raging Battle came out, remember that old pack Raging Battle? Okay, well, what happened at my old locals was you could build a 20 card deck. Like you'd get like 5 packs, you'd enter for like 20 bucks, get your 5 packs, and make a 20 card deck. And you would play that, and then if you won the tournament with the deck that you made, you would get like a box of Raging Battle, and it was just it offered more reasons for people to continue to play the game just because of the incentives and everything. And Konami really doesn't give that incentive, and they don't give very good coverage. They don't give any good deck lists at all because they're basically I don't know if they're thinking this or not, but we Yugi tubers have to put up all the deck lists, which I don't mind getting a lot of views and people checking out my channel whenever I'm posting up those deck lists. I don't mind that one bit. But I will admit it is stressful whenever, like, as soon as Vexy puts up a deck list, oh, I gotta be able to put up the deck list because I don't know where to look for these deck lists. Vexy has the connections, I don't. I'm a 66 subscriber base Yugi tuber, whereas Vexy has almost 10,000. I mean, he's going to have those connections. And plus, I don't tell people on my Facebook that I play Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's not that easy for me just to go send a friend request to Chris LeBlanc and ask for an interview. People are going to be like, who's Chris LeBlanc? They're going to go on there, see his profile picture of him next to Jarrell Winston, see YCS, him holding up his YCS man. It's just like, what's a YCS? Is this Yu-Gi-Oh? And then it's just, it provides for bad karma. But that's just me. Anyways, I'm going off on a random tangent. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I don't want to give my 2 cents on this situation because I know a lot of people are really enraged about this. But I think also a lot of people agree that what Chris Perovich's trying to say is somewhat true and is somewhat kind of BS because in the words of Great Falls, Montana, he does not effing know what he's talking about. And I mean, I hate to say it, just even though this guy, is somewhat famous, but even though I don't really know the guy, honestly, but I kind of have to admit he really doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, if you go X3 at a YCS or regional, whatever, at the end of round 9, I mean, yeah, X3 is not too bad at the end of 9 rounds, but I mean, come on. I mean, you don't really know what you're talking about. You basically haven't played since DDT format, so basically you haven't played since '09. And, I mean, your name hasn't been up in Spotlight since, what, '09, like I said? And I'm not trying to say, basing this off of, you know, SJCs, Shonen Jumps, whatever. But, you really have to know what you're talking about if you're going to make an article about this. And, but I do agree that we should email Konami saying, look, we want better coverage. Personally, I would love better coverage because it really helps you study the meta more. And even Chris Perovich did mention that back when metagame.com had like all the deck lists and everything. You could really study the meta. You could really see what was good. You could really see what was not so good. You could see what the tech cards were. You could see what other tech cards were. And I mean, you could just see kind of how the way that the meta was shifting because of metagame.com and how UDE was running everything. And UDE made most of the rulings simple, whereas Konami's like, well, if this damage step happens, this happens, and Konami has their reasons, of course. They want to make money like we all do. But there's a point where you got to draw a line and say, okay, look, we're done with this. We need to do something about this. And honestly, I do like how he says that if we all came together as one group, that we could probably get this this change to happen, how we could say to Konami, um, make these changes, please, all polite about it, and maybe they'll make the change. Not saying that they will, but it shows the power of. I know it's going to sound silly, but power of unity, where if we really do all come together about this situation, then we could make a change. And that goes for anything in life. I mean, this is almost kind of like a moral video. If you want something to change, I'm not saying start a riot, but I mean, rally a bunch of people together and see if you can make some change. Of course, don't make people mad about it, but I mean, um, basically what I'm saying is I agree with Kris Perovich, but at the same time, I think if he would know more of what he's talking about, then he probably wouldn't have gotten as much backlash as I know he did for writing this article, because I know Great Falls, Montana was PO'd. Vexy wasn't really PO'd. I mean, he was chill. He didn't really give his 2 cents on it. I mean, he kind of just, gave the link and said, yeah, I like that. Basically, Vexy said, I'm glad that Kris Perovich wants us all to come together and email Konami saying we want better coverage and it's better on us YouTubers, so come and check this out. He didn't really say, oh, Kris Perovich's an idiot, whereas Great Falls, Montana basically said, this guy's an idiot. Go read this article and go cuss him out. But, so I think that's it for this True Insider, you guys. At the end of the day, I would say that I do want to see change happen. But not be following someone who hasn't really been that relevant. And I'm not trying to sound rude. I mean, that's just kind of like my opinion. And I really didn't know whether or not I wanted to make a video about this, because I know for a fact that I'm going to get at least 10 dislikes just because that there are people out there who aren't going to agree with me, which is fine. I completely understand that. But, people have to realize that sooner or later, we kind of all have to come together at some point and tell Konami that what they're doing isn't really exactly right, since they're pretty much taking advantage of us, not giving us the coverage that we want. It's ridiculous. The coverage should be far better than this, in my opinion, especially when Konami is a professional company that really is, they're professionals, is basically what I'm saying. And they should be better with their coverage and everything. And I understand that they're busy, but, we people want to be able to see it. And if you're not giving it to us, then we kind of have to rely on YouTube. And, yeah, so I think that's it. I tried to be as insightful as I could, you guys. Like I said, I know I'm going to get, at least 5 dislikes for this video just because people aren't going to agree with me, which is fine. I completely understand that. I knew that going into making this video. So, if you guys enjoyed, I know a lot of people have already covered this subject. I probably should have said that at the beginning of the video, but yeah. So there's your daily video for you guys. I might have a vlog tomorrow or something. I know I'm gonna be kind of busy tomorrow, but I might post up a vlog just talking about a bunch of stuff that's going on in my life. I don't know, but I think that is all for everything. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It does encourage me to make more videos. And once I hit 70 subscribers, I will do a very crazy milkshake dance where I use this giant toy banana thing that I got at a restaurant or something. I don't know, but I might put on an anonymous mask and do it. I don't know. It'll be something fun for you guys to see and laugh about. All right, take care, you guys.